Observe the object sitting before us. It is small, unassuming, measuring merely 4.8 by 6.5 centimeters, a cylinder of cold industrial tin that fits comfortably in the palm of a hand. Under the harsh gallery lights, the metal gleams with a dull utilitarian sheen, reminiscent of the ration tins of the Second World War or the burgeoning supermarket shelves of the 1960s economic boom. It does not scream for attention with vibrant colors or chaotic brushstrokes. It possesses the quiet, terrifying confidence of a mass-produced commodity. Yet the label, printed in a stark, bureaucratic serif font, delivers a message that disrupts this commercial silence like a slap to the face. Merda d'artista, it reads, artist's shit. Below this brazen declaration, the contents are cataloged with the precision of a pharmacist. Contents, 30 grams net, freshly preserved, produced and tinned in May 1961. It is repeated in 4 languages, Italian, English, French, and German, ensuring that no corner of the Western art world could plead ignorance to what Piero Manzoni was offering. The visual irony is palpable, almost visceral. We are presented with the cleanest, most sterile packaging imaginable for the most abject, repulsively organic substance known to man. The can is hermetically sealed, containing the uncontainable, sanitizing the profane. It sits there, a silent metallic sphinx, challenging us to reconcile the pristine exterior with the decay it claims to harbor. In 1961, this was not merely a sculpture, it was a financial contract, a provocative alchemy performed not in a laboratory, but in the marketplace. Manzoni, with the smirk of a trickster god, pegged the price of these 90 cans directly to the daily market price of gold. 30 grams of excrement for 30 grams of 24-karat gold. It was a gesture of breathtaking arrogance and brilliance. By equating the artist's waste with the world's most enduring standard of value, Manzoni was stripping bare the mechanisms of the art world. He was asking us to look at a painting by a master and admit that we are not paying for the canvas or the oil, but for the divine residue of the creator. If the artist is a Midas, then everything he touches turns to gold, even his own digestion. The transaction was clear. If you worship the artist as a genius, you must accept that his biology is sacred. Manzoni didn't just sell a can, he sold a mirror to a society obsessed with consumption. In the post-war explosion of consumerism, where packaging became more important than the product, Manzoni took the logic to its terminal point. He packaged the one thing that cannot be consumed, the waste product of consumption itself, and sold it back to the bourgeoisie as a luxury good. It was a grotesque loop, a closed circuit of consumption and excretion, plated in the metaphorical gold of cultural prestige. The object vibrates with this tension, suspending us between the urge to recoil in disgust and the compulsion to revere it as a holy relic of the avantgarde. The true power of this tin cylinder, however, lies not in what is printed on the label, but in the suffocating silence of what lies within. We are confronted with the Schrödinger's cat of art history. Is it truly feces, or is it a void? The can is a vault, and its contents are locked in a state of permanent superposition. For over 60 years, the art world has whispered, debated, and agonized over the reality of the organic matter allegedly sealed inside. The material integrity of the work depends entirely on our inability to verify it. To open the can is to destroy the artwork. To peel back the lid is to collapse the wave function, turning a priceless conceptual gesture into either a biohazard or a disappointing pile of plaster. Agostino Bonalumi, a contemporary and collaborator of Manzoni, once confessed that the cans contain nothing more than ordinary plaster. Yet this confession does nothing to dampen the aura of the object. If anything, it thickens the plot. If the cans are filled with plaster, the shit exists purely in our minds, conjured by the label and our own willingness to believe. This connects Manzoni's work to the ancient tradition of religious reliquaries. Consider the medieval reliquaries housing the finger of a saint or a splinter of the true cross. The faithful do not demand a DNA test or carbon dating. The container and the institution's seal of authenticity are enough to transmit the divine power. Manzoni, functioning as the high priest of this secular religion, understood that the modern artist had replaced the saint. The steel of the can is Bic, and the lead seals are opaque to X-rays, frustrating conservationists and curious collectors who have tried to peer inside without breaking the seal. This impenetrability is crucial. It forces the viewer into a position of faith. Manzoni had already toyed with this invisibility in his Artist's Breath, where he sold balloons filled with his own lungs' air and magic bases, pedestals that transformed anyone standing on them into a temporary living sculpture. But Artist's Shit is the most aggressive iteration of this philosophy. It posits that the artist's touch is so potent it supersedes physical reality. If it is plaster, the joke is on the collector who paid for gold and bought dust. If it is excrement, the joke is still on the collector who has fetishized waste to the point of worship. The uncertainty generates a tension that is almost audible. Standing before it in a museum, one feels a strange, voyeuristic thrill, the proximity to the taboo, shielded only by a thin layer of tin. We are looking at a sealed tomb of the artist's humanity. Whether that tomb contains a corpse or an empty room is irrelevant. The monument itself is what demands our genuflection. It is a testament to the power of the signifier over the signified, proving that in the realm of high art, the idea is the only thing that is truly solid, while the material world dissolves into ambiguity. Fast forward to the present day, and the silence of the can has been drowned out by the thunderous crack of the auction gavel. The financial prophecy Manzoni inscribed onto these tins has not only come true, it has mutated into something far more absurd than he could have ever predicted. In 2016, a single can sold for over €250,000. Today, the value of Artist's Shit far outstrips the price of gold. The 30 grams of matter inside, be it dried excrement or crumbled plaster, trade for roughly $10,000 per gram. The alchemy is complete. The shit has become more valuable than the metal that was supposed to serve as its ironic standard. This exploding valuation is the final, crushing punchline of Manzoni's dark joke. He set out to mock the art market's ability to monetize anything, to show that collectors were so vacuous they would literally buy waste if it came with a certificate of authenticity. Instead of recoiling in shame, the market embraced the critique, digested it, and monetized it. The cynicism of the work became its selling point. It is a tragedy of success. The satire has been subsumed by the very system it sought to dismantle. The work now sits in the pristine, climate-controlled vaults of the Tate, the MoMA, and private bunkers, treated with the reverence reserved for Rembrandts and Vermeers. Manzoni died tragically young, at age 29, just 2 years after canning his waste, freezing his legacy in this moment of radical provocation. He stands as the grandfather of shock art, the spectral ancestor looming behind Maurizio Catalan's duct-taped banana and Damien Hirst's diamond-encrusted skull. Yet Manzoni's tin can remains more potent because of its simplicity and its opacity. It does not rely on diamonds or headlines. It relies on trust. It forces us to confront the uncomfortable truth that value is a hallucination we all agree to share. As we stare at the rusting rim of the can, we are left with a profound melancholia. We realize that we are not looking at art in the traditional sense, but at a relic of our own desperate need to find meaning in the material world. We have turned the most abject substance into an idol because we need to believe that human creation, even at its most base level, has worth. Manzoni offered us his waste, and we, starving for connection, called it gold. The can remains sealed, but our complicity is wide open for all to see. In the end, it doesn't matter what is inside the tin. The art is not the feces. The art is the check written to acquire it.